Madam President.
Senator from Vermont.
Thank you very much. As the longest-serving independent in the history of the U.S. Congress, I want to address an issue that I think does not get the kind of discussion that it should from either political party, but certainly not from our Republican colleagues. And that is the moral, economic, and political dimensions of the kind of income and wealth inequality which we have in our country today. In my view, this is the most important issue facing the United States because it impacts on virtually every aspect of our lives. It is an issue that we must be discussing thoroughly and one in which the American people have got to be engaged. The fact of the matter is that while we often speak of the United States of America being the wealthiest nation on the face of the earth, that is only partially true, because within the context of total wealth is the reality that the middle class, the great middle class of this country, is disappearing. The reality is that we have more people living in poverty today than at any time in the history of the United States of America. The fact of the matter is that we have by far the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major industrialized nation on earth. So if you add it all together, yes, we are the wealthiest nation on earth, but the reality is that the people on top own a huge amount of that wealth, while the middle class is shrinking and poverty is increasing. And I want to bore you, Madam President, although I think you already know this issue, but I do want to speak to our colleagues and the American people about some of the realities out there in terms of income and wealth distribution. Today, Madam President, the top 1% owns 38% of the financial wealth of America, 38%. And I wonder how many Americans know how much the bottom 60% own. So I want people to think about it. Top 1% own 38% of the wealth. What do the bottom 60% own? And the answer is all of 2.3%. Top 1% owns 38% of the financial wealth. The bottom 60% owns 2.3%. Madam President, there is one family in this country, the Walton family, the owners of Walmart, who are now worth, as a family, $148 billion. That is more wealth than the bottom 40% of American society. One family owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of American society. Today, the richest 400 Americans own more wealth than the bottom half of America, 150 million people. That's distribution of wealth.
I think the worst thing that I was ever asked to do would be to really adjust a person's time. That is the worst, because they did the work. You know, they were there, and they deserve to get paid for what they did. It's a job. It's not right. It's not fair.
My GM was sitting at the office desk and notified me and 4 other managers that there was a crew member that went over 40 hours, that she was going to take the rest of those hours and put it on the following pay period.
I had a manager that actually sat with me when I was closing, and when it was time to shut down the system, the exact words were, "Oh, we got to adjust labor," not giving an employee a break. That is pretty much the norm. If you get a break, you're pretty much lucky. See, what you would do is at the end of the shift, as a manager, when you go in, you constantly have to go into the computer. You're going to put that break in there if that time is not balancing out. I've, on several occasions, had employees come and work either before their shift or either stay after their shift. I've had employees literally clock out to work because they were either going into overtime or labor was getting extremely high, and we had to balance it. I have witnessed deductions being done with employees, whether it was uniform, whether it was a name tag, whether it was a meal, whether it was anything. They would deduct and they would take it out of your payroll.
They were on the clock, and if they got sent home, that was money, you know, being taken out of their pay. They weren't the teenagers, they were the 30 to 40 something mothers working multiple jobs at the time to where they couldn't get a full-time work status. Knowing that McDonald's is a multi-billion-dollar empire and they can't pay their workers, it hurts me as now being a mother and seeing other mothers and they can't afford to pay their bills. I feel that McDonald's are stealing from their workers. The company or corporation as a whole is greedy.
Sorry. You don't mind, do you?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you're ready. Go ahead. Whenever you're ready.
We just want to know what your circumstances were that led up to you being out of work, and
Could you show us the sign you were holding up first, please?
sure.
You mind? You've been holding this up. I seen it out here a couple days ago, didn't I? I think you've been holding that up for a couple days now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, just tell us.
Oh yeah, I got laid off from my job about a year ago, and I've been looking for work ever since. And there's really not a whole lot that.
What did you do before this?
Oh, I'm a maintenance person.
A maintenance worker?
Yeah, I could fix anything.
Anything?
Well, maybe not anything. We'll go with that one. But,
You were working around in here in Binghamton?
Yeah,
You're from here?
yeah, no, actually I'm from Rochester. But my wife and I were married here. And this is where I've lived ever since.
How long have you been homeless?
Are you currently homeless right now?
Well, I got a friend that I stay with. I mean, I don't know how long that's gonna last.
It takes a lot to hold up a sign out here like that.
Yeah, well, you know how long it took me to learn how to do that? Quite a while. Because I really never wanted to do that. Man is capable of doing anything he wants to do. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Everybody fucks up for a reason. Oh, excuse me. But everybody screws up.
Alright, sir. I just thank you very much for your time.
I really, you know what? I enjoyed talking to you. I haven't.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I haven't talked like that to somebody in a very, very long time. But I give her 20. I mean, I